Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And media implodes, news at 11. It's like everything is collapsing at such a ridiculous rate, right? We're going to talk specifically about the LA Times and the Washington Post. Apparently a bunch of people quit the LA Times. They took buyouts today. And the Washington Post, they had one of their top editors leave because they were mad that Jeff Bezos was telling them what they can and can't write about in their op-ed pieces in the paper
in his
he owns.
publication.
Yeah. So what's going on here is that apparently they thought that these businessmen were going to just be their sugar daddies and bankroll their journalism, and they could just do whatever the hell they wanted to do without repercussion. And that worked fine for a while when there was lots of money flowing. Now that the money's tight, now you actually have to write stuff that people want to pay for, and you got to turn a profit.
Yeah, it's not your own personal paper. If it is, start your own.
No, go start a blog. Go start, a Tumblr or something if that's what you want to do. So we're going to talk about the new reality, and the new reality is there are no more free rides, and that is across the board. It's not just journalism; it's also in entertainment, it's also in tech, it's also in the federal government.
Yeah, apparently.
Right? You're perform or you're out. I mean, that's it. That is so far in 2025. That is the underlying theme of everything is you perform or you're done, and there is no more room for charity. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
If you're not getting notifications on YouTube, please go out to clownfishtv.substack.com. Sign up to be notified. You will get a notification every time we post a new video. So lots of weeping and gnashing of teeth in journalism. And I did a video yesterday talking about how gaming journalists were coping with the new reality, which is there are less than 24 of them full-time working in the industry anymore. And we're going to see a lot. Shocker. And now that we have the White House basically letting anybody from like YouTube or with a podcast or whatever, into their briefings. Do we really need so many mainstream journalists? I don't know.
They're so mad about that.
They are incredibly pissed off. Both of these are left-leaning publications. Both of them are pissed off when you invoke capitalism, and like you can't cope with capitalism. And
they just can't even.
They can't even. And both of them, both Politico and NPR, apparently, if I understand it correctly, they were taking some money somehow from USAID, and that is ended. Like I said, no more free rides. So this is Politico's take. Dying in darkness, Jeff Bezos turns out the lights in the Washington Post opinion section. The tech mogul's decision to revamp the editorial pages around his own views threatens not only independent journalism, but the Post's business future. Oh my God.
Or so, just not have op-ed.
Right. Not have op-ed. But yeah, they, this come from NPR too. They had it. They said, Bezos revamp of Washington Post opinions leaves editor quit. It's probably like, look, because he wanted to pivot the paper back to center, but like, he can't trust you.
No. He
can't trust you. They've been ass mad since Trump that they wouldn't, he wouldn't allow them to endorse Harris. And it was the same with the LA Times too. But like, these are businessmen and they're looking at their business and their businesses are collapsing.
Well, they own this, whatever. And they're looking at like, these people just want to use it as their own personal podium to take a dump on whatever they feel like taking a dump on, which is fine if it's your own blog, if you own it. But if you don't own it, it's his right to say, hey, you're chasing off customers. Stop this shit. Here's guidelines for op-ed.
Well, that's exactly what he did. So this is the message that he sent out, and a couple of their editors quit, or one of their big editors, I guess, quit. He said, I shared this note with the Washington Post team this morning. I'm writing to let you know about change coming to our opinion pages. We are going to be writing every day in support and defense of two pillars, personal liberty and free markets. Sounds like my kind of guy. And rocket ships. We'll cover other topics too, of course, but viewpoints opposing those pillars will be left to be published by others.
Well, that's his prerogative.
It's his newspaper. He can do with it whatever the hell he wants to do, right? There was a time when a newspaper, especially one that was a local monopoly, might have seen it as a service to bring to the reader's doorstep every morning a broad-based opinion section that sought to cover all views. Today, the internet does that job.
Yeah, people like us, they're so pissed about.
I am of America and for America and proud to be so. This is so wild. I mean, we saw the same thing with Apple too. Mm-hmm. They're all like waving the flag now, and it's not the pride flag. It's red, white, and blue. Yeah.
It feels like people like they felt like they were kept hostage, and now they're like free, and now they're like, woo, they're going the other way, because that's what the vibe I get. It's almost like I got freedom, I'm going to use it. Does that make sense?
I think a lot of these business owners were held hostage by their own staffs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And it's like, it's not right. It's not right that look, you can listen to your employees, but at the end of the day, they're your employees. And you can have a difference of opinion, but you're not obligated to keep them on staff if they're obviously not on board with your mission statement. And you're the one that cuts the checks. You're the one that signs the checks,
and
right?
Here's the thing. If they're so convinced they're right, then, what's the problem? Because the market will decide.
Yeah.
So if you think that they think that they're right in wanting to be able to have this, platform for op-ed pieces, if they take it away, then by, their argument, it's going to fold. So let it.
Yeah. He said, I'm of America and for America. I'm proud to be so. Hell yeah. Our country did not get here by being typical. And a big part of America's success has been freedom in the economic realm and everywhere else. Freedom is ethical. It minimizes coercion, and practical. It drives creativity, invention, and prosperity. I offered David Shipley, whom I greatly admire, the opportunity to lead the new chapter. I suggested to him that the answer wasn't hell yes, that had to be no. After careful consideration, David decided to step away. This is a significant shift. It won't be easy, and it will require 100% commitment. I respect his decision. We'll be searching for a new opinion editor to own this new direction. So he probably wanted to get in there and just take a dump on, Trump and Musk and Trump and Musk and Musk and Trump and Trump and Musk.
Like the AP?
Yeah, like the AP.
I'm just like, look, it's his paper. If someone's paying the bills and they own it and they want it to go in a certain direction, or they want to put new regulations in because it's not a free-for-all anymore about opinions, that's their prerogative to do so. They're allowed to do it. It's also the editor's, prerogative to leave.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I had butted heads a few times with the publisher of the paper I was actually the managing editor of. And a lot of times it was, his viewpoints were very strong, but, it was his paper, right? So occasionally he would do op-ed pieces as the publisher. And a lot of times he was at odds with the rest of us. But again, it was his prerogative. Mm-hmm. It was his newspaper. He was the one paying the bills. And, we also ran into issues with advertising where he was, promising advertisers this and that because, again, his goal was to make money as the publisher, as the owner of the paper. I didn't have to agree with all of his decisions. I didn't agree with all of his decisions, but I really didn't have the right to tell him he couldn't because he owned it. Mm-hmm. He owned it. So, yeah, their op-ed editor, their opinion editor, rage quit. And not to be outdone, a bunch of people from the LA Times took a buyout. 40 LA Times newsroom staffers take buyouts. Tremendous amount of institutional knowledge lost. Well, what does it matter if the paper?
That's up for debate.
If the paper is going to go out of business because you're chasing people away, what does it matter? They said we should put out a missing flyer in search of the man who bought our paper and made promises about its future. So this is what's going on, right? They're pissed because the billionaires, the businessmen that bought these papers, want to make money.
But why did you buy a paper if you want to make money? I know,
right?
That was my first question.
So it's Jeff Bezos, obviously, for the Washington Post, and Patrick Soon-Shiong, I think, is the LA Times owner. And they're calling them out on the Wrap. They're like, billionaire media owners aren't the white knights journalists dreamed of. Their recent actions reek of self-interest, not the enlightened ownership for which employees at the newspapers hoped.
Billionaires don't buy filling papers or newspapers in this economy. And when there's obviously writing on the wall that papers are going under, unless they had a reason and self-interest reason to do so.
That's exactly it. And I think it got to a place where they bankrolled the money losing activism for years, and it became very apparent that, like, yeah, this is not working. It's not getting better. People are not buying our paper. People are actively quitting. They're canceling their subscriptions. They're not visiting the websites. They're the reason that the newspapers or these websites are so marginalized now is because we have so many other voices in social media that have kind of, taken the eyeballs, taken the viewers, because they're speaking the truth. They're allowed to speak the truth.
But what it sounds like too is these people are expecting, like, these billionaire moguls need to do civic mindedness and let us say what we want to say and just basically foot the bill for us. It's opinion socialism.
Welfare.
And they're supposed to appeal because they're white knights, and they're supposed to save journalism. By saving journalism means saving their opinion, saving their side.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Yeah, so David Geffen was supposed to buy the paper, I guess, and they say almost 20 years later, the long-standing dream of billionaire white knights swooping in to rescue journalism appears to gradually be turning into a nightmare, with some of those moguls revealing themselves, as fantasy characters go, to be something closer to Lex Luthor than the saviors that were envisioned.
It's called they're losing money from your dumbass. You are dead weight dumbassery. And they don't need your dead weight dumbassery, and they want you out.
Like these journalists, I swear to God, they're such victims. They're
it's like they literally think that because they're journalists, that they have a job there that is literally socialism, and they are supposed to just fall on their sword and lose all their money and everything else just so they can write op-ed pieces about what they want to write about. And that's not how the world flipping works. I don't know how much clearer this is to make it. If a company is losing money, people are going to have to be cut. That's universal. But if you could have done things to change it, then your best interest as both the owner and the employees is to do better to make more money so that people don't lose their jobs. But no, the white knights are failing us because they expect us to do our jobs, and they aren't doing what we want them to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's his paper. He can tell you to do whatever the hell he wants, and you don't have to work for him, right?
You don't have to agree. It's just, then go find another job.
Well, they're going to. Good luck with that.
Good luck.
Good luck with that, because nobody's hiring journalists now. Nobody's hiring journalists because anybody can be a journalist. And I know it pisses you off. But anybody can pick up a microphone or pick up a cell phone and become a quote unquote journalist, because that's what people want. They want authentic opinions. You don't have to agree with them, but that's what people want. They're taking your audience because you lost the plot a long time ago. Again, you thought you're entitled to sit in that seat. And it turns out the only reason you're in that seat is because your sugar daddy, Jeff Bezos, was bankrolling it. And that's it. They want these guys to be sugar daddies.
If Bezos was still going the way they wanted and still like leading the way, they'd be all like, yes, that's right. Yeah. But they're not. And that's what they're mad about. Because you're supposed to do, basically, it's the tail wagging the dog. These people are expected to let them do whatever they want to make sure they side the way they want. And I have a feeling that they were like, as the way they come across is like it's freedom. Like were they personally being bullied, or like it would be a real shame if the world knew what kind of a bigot you were. That's how it comes across. Yeah,
that's that. Yeah. So what are they gonna do? Try to blackmail them? And it's like, come on.
I don't know. It just seems like people behave this way, and you saw this with Facebook guy.
Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg. Yeah. My mind blanked for a minute. Zuckerberg too. It's kind of like I have freedom now.
Yeah, once they get away, because again, their own employees were holding them hostage, I think. And
someone gave them a sock. I don't know.
Yeah, right. So they said, instead of the enlightened ownership for which journalists had hoped for, the fear now is that these corporate titans view newspapers as just another asset to help fuel their larger business objectives. They've been for at least 100 years, at least. Longer than that.
That's what these papers were for. And then even more recently, papers don't sell. No one buys something like a paper unless it's for personal interest. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just like, it's crazy. It's just like, again, it's the entitlement.
These people should all work for free. That's what they expect everybody else to lose money. So they should just work for free.
Well, they get mad when somebody does pick up a cell phone and start doing citizen journalism. They get mad if they get paid for that, because they're not allowed to get paid for it. Only vetted journalists who are part of
they shouldn't get paid for it either.
Yeah, if you're really in it for the ethics and you're really in it
For the
because you love it,
journalism.
for the journalism, then you should go work a day job and then do your journalism at night.
And do it for free. Because
do it for free.
you're expecting people who buy these papers and have to run all these papers and all these jobs and pay for all this stuff to just do it for free because they're the white knights and it's their job to fund your lifestyle. Well, then why aren't you doing it for free? If you're so noble and you believe in it so much, because a lot of citizen journalists are doing it for free. If you believe in it so much, why aren't you doing it for free?
Yeah. So they're talking about Bezos. He bought the Post for $250 million in 2013. He said all the right things, invested in attracting top journalist talent while encouraging experimentation to meet the demands for digital age. He's been bankrolling this thing for 12 years, and it's not turning a profit. I mean, and Amazon across the board now they're cutting stuff loose that doesn't turn a profit, right? You got to make money. You got to make money. Everything's got to make money, and that is the mantra of 2025, right? I mean, again, if it means so damn much to you, just do it for free. Put the tip jar up.
Wait, it gets better. So they're mad about that Patrick guy, Patrick Soon-Shong, whatever, who bought it in 2018.
Yeah.
What's this? Since he bought it, and they wouldn't take signs about that.
The LA Times guy, yeah.
Yeah, since he bought it, it's provided a steady drip of fodder to irritate and embarrass his newsroom, including interviews with conservative outlets.
What?
And talking about fixing a bias meter to stories.
What?
How dare they? How very dare they actually try to get both sides of the story, and they try to make sure they're holding themselves accountable and not being too biased. How dare? What do you think this is? Journalism? I can't even. You can't even make this shit up. And
I forgot.
They're writing it. It's like totally serious.
I forgot about the bias meter. Actually, that's not a new thing. So here's the thing. They're totally cool with the bias meter if it's some third party that's basically bankrolled to go find all the conservative outlets and label them alt-right, because there were sites out like Media Matters or whatever, like, oh, this one's alt-right. We're gonna put our meter on this one. This is okay to say that these guys are right-wing, but you're not allowed to say, yeah, there's a strong left-wing bias in this article.
They're alt-left.
They're alt-left. You're not allowed to say that. Only we can affix labels to people.
Literally, what they kept this fodder, this terrible thing, because they make their newsroom angry. They actually talk to conservative outlets and conservative people. How fucking dare they? Don't they understand that this is our paper and it's about us? And they actually tried to say that we need a bias meter to try to be less biased. How dare they? How dare they? I can't even work for free then, bitch. I don't know what to tell you. Go start your own thing. I don't know what to tell you. Oh, but that's hard.
Yeah, it's look, this is a lot of thrashing. The meteors already hit. The dinosaurs are dying.
Wait.
Okay.
The for-profit model of journalism, they wrote to Bezos, the for-profit model of journalism with its naive faith, its supposedly public-spirited plutocrats as owners, is utterly failing in this time of existential threat to democracy. This professor at Columbia University of Journalism. The for-profit model of journalism, it's always been for-profit. Again, all you journalists then, why are you working? Are you expecting to be paid? Then you're expecting to profit. So you all should be, and according to this Columbia University professor, you're the problem. You should be doing it for free. Yeah, it's an existential threat by you getting paid.
I remember how Hearst used to just put newspapers out there for free because he was a real nice guy.
Mm-hmm. I know, right? I just like this is who writes this stuff? Like, I mean, how stupid are you?
God. Yeah, for journalists in the Post and everywhere else, they said there was a lot of excitement when he bought it. That excitement feels very much like a case of being careful what you wish for, because we got it took 12 years.
Because when he leaned the way we thought he leaned, it was okay.
Yeah. Well,
if he was telling Trump to fuck off, they'd be like, yeah, that's right.
And he probably read the tea leaves. He probably was feeling like, well, people are anti-Trump, right? Because all my journalists are telling me everybody hates Trump, and these anti-Trump articles are getting hit. So I'm going to let them just run with it because we're making money. And now things have changed. Now we're not making money. So again, back then it was a whole lot easier to make money online than it is now. And a lot more people read newspapers, and they paid for newspapers than they do now. And it's a very different economic landscape. So they were probably making money, and now he's not.
he's pretty much Lex Luthor, because how dare he not let them write anything they want to write, and how dare he want to make money to pay them because they want paid, and they cannot see the double standard here. Like, you want paid to do your work, but he's supposed to do all this other stuff and just fund you for free.
We thought you were Daddy Warbucks.
I know, right? I can't wrap my head around this. Like, no business can stay in business that way.
No.
Nobody can. And the fact that these people are so stupid, I'm like, maybe they're right that the Department of Education is that bad, that these people are too stupid to understand this.
They're not being taught about capitalism, right? This is capitalism 101. And here, like, this is my biggest takeaway from like everything this year so far with all the layoffs and everything and gaming and all that is they do not understand how the economy works. They do not understand that the company they're working for is not making money. There's no money to pay them.
No, they're supposed to still pay them. It's socialism. They're supposed to get paid, but the company has to keep losing money because he's rich and he can afford to lose it, so they can get paid to put their opinions out.
Reparations.
Yeah, their opinions. Literally, they're mad about opinions.
Oh
op-ed pieces. They're mad about op-ed pieces.
Then again, go tweet about it. Go blue sky about it. Where the hell they call it.
Go write your own damn blog. Go start your own thing, and then you have to be responsible for paying it. I always found it's funny because a lot of people think that, like, when they're working for somebody else and they want to do all this stuff and they do all the shitty things, and then when they find out when they have to do their own thing, that other people start doing what they were doing, and it's going to tank them and lose them their advertising network and everything. Then they're like, oh no, you can't do that.
Yeah, we've actually, I don't go into too much detail, but we've actually had some former employees think that they could do better than us. And then when they got to finally be the boss, they were in for a very rude awakening.
That's one person.
And it is a lot harder than you think it is. And you know what I'm saying? So it's, yeah. Good luck with that. I think he's going to be happy to be rid of him. And honestly, it's not going to make much of a difference because they're going to have to like recalibrate these papers top to bottom. And that's what they're trying to do because they had a bunch of people leave and they were like, well, nobody's buying papers. We got to make the papers worth buying again. We got to make it worth subscribing again. And people aren't going to do that if they're being screamed at about what awful people they are day in, day out.
Again, work for free then.
Yeah, go work for free.
You should go stand behind your ethics and integrity and work for free. Don't take any money for your journalism. But you won't do that, will you?
No. They like their $175,000 union journalism jobs because they went to journalism college.
But they don't want to be told what they have to. But they have to write about what they have to do, and by the person that actually owns the paper. Just pay them to let them do what they want. Hell no.
No.
We wrap this up.
We're wrapping this up, guys. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.